Hello, my name is Elena Granzi, and I'm doing my presentation on natural disasters, organizing and ensuring the protection of artifacts in emergency situations. When natural disasters occur, libraries are often a cornerstone in the community, providing food, water, shelter, and internet access as soon as they are able. Librarians, as skilled information professionals, are on the front line of disaster recovery by connecting those affected by a disaster to recovery resources. After a natural disaster, librarians can connect patrons to Red Cross and local disaster relief organizations by providing meeting rooms, printing, faxing, scanning services, notary services, access to temporary housing solutions, and to computers and the internet. During the pandemic, these library resources were equally important, particularly for unemployment aid, taxes, healthcare, and other aid programs. The human resource frame. In the aftermath of the 2004 and 2005 Gulf Coast hurricanes, public libraries played many important roles in their communities, though ensuring access to vital information may have been the most critical service. Librarians, skilled and volunteer, were the backbone of maintaining these operations, often to their own detriment. They helped communities prepare for the oncoming storms, creating and distributing emergency preparedness guides, conducted disaster information workshops, and ran volunteer coordination programs. In the aftermath of the Gulf Coast hurricanes, library staff used the internet and other resources to help people, providing emergency information regarding people who had been in the storms and those that had been evacuated, giving shelter, running and staffing shelters for evacuees, both in library buildings and other local buildings. They provided physical aid, cooking and distributing food, water, ice, tarps, and bug sprays. They assisted in caring for community members in need, helping with the completion of FEMA, insurance, and other paperwork, as well as caring for special needs and elderly evacuees, and working as translators when necessary. They also worked with relief organizations, assisted FEMA, Red Cross, and the Army Corps of Engineers personnel in their duties, helping them navigate the city. And then in the aftermath, they also helped with cleaning up the damage after the storms, securing city buildings before storms, checking structures for damage, cleaning up debris, and restoring damaged government structures. The political frame. Libraries with strong relationships with their local governments can greatly increase their effectivity in times of crisis. Strong relationships between local libraries and local governments can be impactful. However, the county-level system permitted dedicated administrative staff to support librarians as they responded to hurricanes, tornadoes, and the COVID-19 pandemic. This helped librarians respond more effectively to disasters and also permitted the local government and disaster aid organizations to better understand how to effectively utilize the skill sets of librarians during a disaster. It is encouraged that librarians should be familiar with their local disaster plans beyond their walls. Library directors should also identify people they need to notify in case of an emergency, as well as emergency personnel and vendors they can work with during recovery. These are the more common types of disasters that can afflict libraries, museums, or archives. Water, through heavy rains, hurricanes, or flooding, can distort a wide number of materials. Fire, either a wildfire, deliberate arson, or accidental mishandling of reactive materials. Mold, from high humidity and warmth, can permanently ruin a wide variety of materials. Accidental mishandling of items or materials, or using improper storage techniques, speeding up their decay. And a more recent one that was not often on disaster planning procedures was disease outbreak and the after effects of cleaning and maintaining a safe environment. Of the nation's collections, Libraries contain 92% of the nation's books and bound volumes held for preservation, 92% of photographic items, 84% of recorded sound, 70% of moving images, and 85% of unbound sheets by volume. Yet in 2018, 58% of libraries didn't have written emergency or disaster plans for their collections. 18% had a plan, but employees weren't trained to carry it out, and only 24% of libraries had emergency plans and trained staff to carry them out. The most important thing before disaster strikes is to go through the work creating a disaster plan. A disaster plan can be as large or as simple as is required for whatever database, library, museum, or archive it's being created for, but all disaster plans should have three main parts at least. The first one would be prevention. These are the necessary steps that should be taken by any librarian, archivist, or personnel within the building regarding storage or handling of materials to prevent damages or disaster down the line. This includes storing items in safe locations, using appropriate materials for storage, and keeping up to date on all required maintenance of a facility. Next up is contact, taking place during, immediately after a disaster, knowing and possessing a list of what groups and organizations should be contacted immediately, whether this would be the fire department in case of a fire outbreak or any other associated groups and organizations to help mitigate the damage and keep any disaster from spreading. The last part would be the initial response by damage type. This would take place immediately after the damage had been done and as soon as it was safe for the staff, librarians, and archivists to engage with the materials once again. And the first thing they do would be to catalog what type of damage has been done. Was this a fire and now there is a collection of ash and debris that has stuck to the artifacts? Is there water damage, risking mold? And then taking the immediate steps following that. If things are wet, how to best dry everything off quickly and efficiently. If it's fire, how to make sure that everything is out without doing further damage and how to clean things. These are the three main parts of a disaster plan, although other parts are often included. More fine detail on each necessary part for all of these is often included in the disaster plan, a full list of contacts, and a full list of prevention for the different items, and a full list of types of damage that are likely to occur in the area. If they live in a volcanic region, information such as that should be included, or on the coast, hurricanes, etc. Creating a comprehensive disaster plan is one of the most important things a library, archive, or museum can do, and yet it is something that is not widely implemented. By reaching out and engaging with local political officials and governments, libraries can build up corresponding disaster plans, taking into account the full scope of their environments, including what resources they will have, and at what times, and where they can go for more if needed. The human aspect of how libraries function also cannot be overlooked, as they will be the ones implementing these plans when disaster strikes. Volunteer or employee, the people are an important part of creating a comprehensive disaster plan. And here is my works cited.